Oh, no, no, no. I think you're going to be very surprised with my reaction to this movie, guys. I did not like it.
Oh wow! Oh my
Oh,
god!
Oh,
Wow!
no!
Holy, I did
Dude.
not expect that. The MCU has been dead as a doornail, so has Deadpool come to save it, to re-energize it, to give Jason just his happy feels all feely. One can only assume the answer is yes for him. Probably no for me. Rembo, nobody knows Deadpool. Nobody's an OG Deadpool fan that I know more than you. Well before Deadpool became this pop sensation from 2015, all of a sudden he became this household name. Everyone loves Deadpool, but back when he was a B-list character before the MCU and all of that, you were a big fan of him. What did you think of Deadpool and Wolverine?
It's perfectly acceptable. In lieu of what we have gotten when we were talking earlier about, like, when you actually go through the list of the MCU movies that have come out after Endgame, it's so bad. Black Widow, Captain Marvel 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Spider-Man No Way Home, Eternals, Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2.
Wow. Oh, geez, I even
Forgot about that one. Oh, Ant-Man Quantumania. Whew.
Oh, God.
Dude, this gets worse. I think that's it. And then, a handful of shows. Miss Marvel the show, She-Hulk the show.
Echo.
Who can forget Echo? All of less, actually. But
I heard it wasn't good.
Yeah. Word on the street.
You can edit that out. That was a
okay, yeah.
Sorry.
I'm leaving that in.
That's good. No.
So suffice to say, it's been dark days in the MCU since Endgame. I went into this with low expectations. It seemed like this was basically entirely in Ryan Reynolds' hands. I figured I just wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to not be terrible. I want to enjoy my time. And I did. I laughed a lot. There were some really fun, engaging action scenes. I thought it was pretty creative. With a very weak story, a weaker villain, and pretty mediocre dialogue other than... So with just some fun, like, half of the cameos are good and entertaining. Half of them, who gives a shit? That's basically my initial thoughts. I watched it. I had a good time. I don't think I'll watch it again. Maybe watch some highlights here and there, but could have been worse.
Jason, I saw you flinch when Remy said the villain wasn't very good. Did I misread that, or were you saying, oh, how dare you?
Oh, no, no, no. I think you're going to be very surprised with my reaction to this movie, guys. I fucking did not like it.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Oh,
wow. Holy, I did not expect that. That's a bigger twist than...
Jason, this is basically an Easter egg movie. How could it not be yours?
I know, dude. And it was beating me over the head with those fucking cameos. I was just like, stop. I can't take it anymore. So the slaps in the face. But
you created a monster you could not control. You wanted all the Easter eggs. You wanted all the cameos, and then it just bludgeoned you to death.
Exactly. I thought this is the movie that I wanted, but it was not the movie that I wanted. But I was like, there's a point where he turns around, and he's like, it's almost over, or like he's like looks at the cameras like we're trying to wrap this up. I'm like, thank God, because I was just hoping you were going to say something like that, dude.
What happened to our paragon of positivity?
I know, man. This is the movie that crumbled that paragon. It was absolutely heartless. It was heartless and like empty movie, man. It was like a just rehash of everything that we've seen, almost everything you just rattled off right there, of just, I mean, not even just Marvel, of just like Star Wars and just other franchises. They're just going through the motions of like the beginnings, the middle, the end of having these highlights. But I mean, hilarious. I will not argue with that. I mean, I was laughing a lot during that movie, but it was heartless. Yeah, that's it. Empty is what I kept like coming out of that saying. And then the villain just crushed me. Like, I might have, if it was a cooler villain or even someone else that we had seen, bring him back, like some motherfucker that we always joke about in DC universe, they keep bringing back the villain.
Doomsday.
Dude, yeah, the Superman, the General
Zod.
Zod. I was like,
Wow.
just bring back Zod. I don't care at this point. I want someone else to decide that she was horrible, and then Paradox dude was even worse. So no, dude, I don't have much good to say about this movie. So
Wow.
I can't believe it myself. So yeah,
Damn, I did
I
not
know.
expect that. So
I know.
I think the movie was. I think Remy put it well. I would say the movie was consistently, mostly mildly entertaining, where it wasn't nearly like watching Thor: Love and Thunder or Ant-Man: Quantumania, where
Oh, I
I'm
didn't even
literally
name Thor: Love and Thunder. I forgot about that one. That was really bad too.
where I'm just dying, literally slipping out of my seat like a petulant 4-year-old complaining about having to go to school or something. Like I was really not having a good time with those movies. This movie, it just got to the points where there was so much exposition dumps, so many exposition dumps. Ryan Reynolds just keeps talking through so many scenes, and you're just like, let's go. But the action sequences between Deadpool and Wolverine are great. I love the opening sequence. The opening sequence of him destroying all of the TSA agents. TSA?
TSA. Finally.
TV, yeah, TVA.
TVA, right?
Yeah, TVA.
Time
TVA.
variant. Yeah,
I love the first line that made me laugh was the TVA agent who says, he's like, you're an abomination. He's like, Wolverine's the only good thing to come out of Canada.
yeah.
So that was, I did like
yeah.
that opening sequence. You know, they addressed the whole desecration of Logan and all that stuff. But it just turns into like a real, some of the cameos that they really depend on just don't land, and some of them I was surprised at how much I liked some of them. The footage I see of some of fans holding a camera in the theater and people jumping out of their seats at certain things. Could you be any more circus like? Like it's so like when there's certain cameos that come on, I was thinking, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that person was going to be in this. Or I was like, all right, cool. But the idea that you would jump out of your seat at any of this, to me, just made absolutely no sense. And Jason, you were right. The way that it does feel so, there was no emotional pull. There was no like, oh, that's a really feel. They really retread Logan's story, and I did not care for that at all. But I agree, Jason. I think that they really mishandled trying to give the movie some emotional, hey, like this is a send-off movie, and it really didn't feel like that.
And if it was a send-off movie, it was for a lot of the cameos. Like I felt like this movie was even finishing off like 10 or 20 other characters' movies or something like that. So Elektra could have like one more shot or something like that, which they even felt like they weren't their characters. They were the actors and actresses. You know, it's like so many of them like, you're not Gambit. I mean, you're not this guy. You're Channing Tatum dressed up as Gambit right now. There was no like emotional pull to it, and yeah, it was just too many too quick. Which I mean, some of them did land. I mean, fucking Chris Evans.
Well, like I said before we started recording, Jason was going to start rattling off all of the cameos.
Okay.
Remy, I assume you'll put up a big spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning.
I mean, yeah. Any nerd that's watching us review this is gonna have already seen the movie probably, or not care about spoilers. I would assume, maybe.
No, you had to see this movie like opening weekend, unless the internet was gonna just ruin this thing for you. So yeah. Well, I was gonna go into this Sean Levy, right? Sean Levy, the director. I mean, Free Guy, it was the same thing, I felt like too, because I mean Free Guy was just cameos of like stuff in video games and stuff. Like at the very end, Captain America's shield and Minecraft dudes like axe or something. I felt like that's what this was. You know, it's just them throwing all these things out for these like, what did you say, almost like WWE, when like someone like comes into the ring all of a sudden into the fight and it's another one, the whole crowd goes wild. Like that was what this whole movie was constantly. This one WWE match with people just kept on coming in from the sides and the whole crowd cheering. So I needed more. I as much as I love that shit, I need more.
Rem, the bringing back of Wolverine after the send off of Logan, did you feel like his storyline, his arc / Hugh Jackman's performance, was that worthy of bringing back Wolverine?
No, absolutely not. Like, no way. Hugh Jackman is a level 10 actor when he wants to be. He is an actor. Like, This man is a Broadway professional, can sing and can dance. He's jacked, handsome, fella. Everybody loves him, charismatic. And I mean, took a comic book character that was not supposed to be as gigantic and popular as he became, but he took that character and over the course of 18 years built him into a masterpiece of a character. Like, not that there wasn't good source material, but as far as just like what his performance with the character, what he was originally given, and then what it grew to become because of his specific performances is incredible. There's a short list of actors that have done that. Robert Downey Jr. There's an argument for Chris Evans. Well, the actual arcs we got with Wolverine and then the ending story is just perfect. It's a perfect bow tie. Like, and I recently rewatched all the X-Men movies. It's incredible, dude. He holds X-Men Last Stand together, him and Ian McKellen, just with just duct tape and some like bobby pins. So to bring him back after this was just like, it was just meaningless. It was meaningless. Like, there was no good way of bringing him back and trying to give him a story with like a meaningful redemption arc, which I'm like, that's his whole arc already. We've already seen all that. Like, to then just bring him back and say, oh, well, he failed in another universe and now he's coming back in this one. Like, okay, I guess. I don't feel anything for it. He does a great job. He tries his hardest to pull it through, but it's like, of course it's nice to see him out there. Seeing him put on the yellow suit, put on the fucking mask, claw some people up. It's cool. Probably still would have just been better to leave it alone at the end of the day.
His acting is incredible because I feel like the script did not give him a whole lot of range. These scenes that are supposed to be emotional are pretty they're very limited because this movie is very silly for most of it, and then it tries to have these moments where it tries to pull at your heartstrings, but it's pulling at your heartstrings because Deadpool finds according to the movie, the worst Wolverine, the lowest Wolverine. Stop me if you've heard this before. We find a former great hero. I don't know, like Luke Skywalker, or like Han Solo, or like Indiana Jones, or like Wolverine, and they're at the bottom. They're loser now. They're terrible. They're awful. And then this movie is supposed to give him a redemption that he didn't need. They just find the worst Wolverine, and this is what we have to deal with. It doesn't add anything to the movie. They basically just try to replicate the little moments of Logan, because in Logan, the X-Men are dead. It's not his fault necessarily, but like, we already got that, and so they just try to copy and paste those moments in here, and it's unfortunate because I really like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and he just gave it his all in this movie. It's really impressive how like he really went for it at times, and I just feel like the source material was not worthy of him. So we do get, and we keep saying cameos because it's not just, oh, there's cameos, but the movie is basically predicated on the certain cameos that come across. The big reveal, the first big reveal that we get, I guess there's the reveal of the different Wolverines first. So we get a bunch of different Wolverines. Jason, which of the Wolverines, the different variations of Deadpool's trying to find a Wolverine to recruit, which of those did you like, if any?
I'm a big fan of Age of Apocalypse, and so that was the Wolverine with only one hand and the big like hair and the red and black like suit or something like that, the silver one. But the one I made me laugh the most was like the actual sized Wolverine one where he is in the bar, he jumps off the bar stool and he's like 3 foot or something like that. I'm like, that's actually how tall Wolverine is in the comics, essentially. So that one made me laugh. But then, do we get the Cavell one right then too?
Yeah.
Is that like later? Yeah. I was like, oh man, he like just like Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool says, like he was made to play Wolverine. So yes, I mean, yeah, those were always fun. So that was probably my top ones.
I didn't see the Henry Cavill one coming. I did not see that coming, but like he looked good. I mean, because from the back I could tell like his back I knew that was not Hugh Jackman's back. Like, Hugh Jackman is shredded, but no, Henry Cavill has like a thickness to his torso, a little more gorilla, if you will. And so I was like, that's definitely not him. I thought it was just a random, oh, it's just somebody else's body. And so then we turned around and I was like, oh.
So the next big reveal is that they get dropped into what's it? Oasis?
The void. The void.
The void. They get dropped into the void where evil Cassandra Nova, the sister of Professor X, is running amok in this Mad Max world. And we get introduced to Chris Evans, who comes back. And it's like, oh, Chris Evans looks way skinnier than he did when he was playing Captain America. And it's the big reveal is that it's Johnny Storm, which is awesome. I was like, oh, that's super cool. And then it just fell off a cliff and it just got worse and worse. And then Cassandra Nova pulls his skin off. I was just like, really? Really? Like, you brought back all these different characters and all the other ones got like a cool little moment. And you just bring Chris Evans back for a dark humor joke that's not really funny. I mean, it was funny, the whole like, oh, he's making him say a bunch of things. Deadpool is like, saying that he said all these things. But then it's just like, you just kill him and it's just like after he gets his nuts smashed in from falling out of the sky. And it was just like, that really bothers me. Out of everything in this movie, that bothers me the most.
I mean, Deadpool said it as soon as he got his skin ripped off. He's like, well, that's all our budget could afford if Chris Evans, it's like they only had enough time. Like, okay, we got 5 minutes. Let's use as much as we can out of this actor. I need to jump back on two things that you said during that like whole Mad Max thing and all this. It is the ugliest movie as far as like the places that they go. Like nowhere or the void or wherever, it was such an ugly world to me. And this whole movie has felt very like colorless. And that fact that we spent so much time there like blew my mind. And then the fact of how much they didn't explain really anything about the TVA or or a lot of that. Like you had to have watched Loki season 1 and probably season 2 to get a lot of the shit that was going on with that stuff. And the amount of exposition that they dumped on us, the fact they didn't explain that whole world and people going there and what that all meant and stuff was bullshit, so. All right, yeah, let's continue to talk about the
I will push back on you. I'll push back on you a little bit, saying that there is no uglier movie I don't think that I've ever seen in my life than Ant-Man Quantumania. That is the ugliest movie, the grossest movie I've ever seen. Rem, you wanted to talk about Gambit. We get a slew of characters, actors reprising the roles from Fox properties. There's someone I really want to talk about because it was the one moment where I was like, oh, that's cool. What was your thoughts on what was a previous idea that there was going to be Channing Tatum was going to play Gambit? That never happened. Doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. What did you think of his character in this?
I feel a bittersweet sort of cock tease. I really wanted I love Channing Tatum, and I thought he could make for an awesome Gambit. Has a great look for him, great physicality, charisma, sex appeal, all important things for Gambit. And I was like, he's a good enough actor. If he wants to do a Louisiana accent, Caucasian accent, I feel like he could pull that off. I feel like I was validated. I feel like it's not like, I don't think his accent was like incredible, but I feel like he wasn't trying super hard in a good way. Like he wasn't laying it on so thick where it would seem like over the top. He just like, it was a little bit more reserved, and I think that works, especially for this little role. So it was like, fucking goddamn it, we're never gonna get that, and I wanted that, dude. I really wanted that movie. And so now I just feel like forever. I'm like, I guess at least I'll have this. But when he walked out, in the Gambit suit, I was just like, damn it. It just basically solidified with me that I would never get Gambit. It's almost like I don't know exactly how to feel about it. Like making it to the Western Conference Finals and then losing, being like, oh, we were there right there. Like we almost had it, and then I'm just knowing I'm never gonna get back there.
I mean, I don't know. It's so for sure, man. I mean, the fact if this has some great crowd response, if that's like one of the shining stars of this movie that comes out that people start talking about, I could see that.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean,
a pilot TV show or something. Yeah.
It could. I hope so. I really hope so, because I think it's such a layup of an idea that it was 10 years ago when we initially had this idea, and then just sat in Project Hell forever. So it was nice to see him there. I'm glad he got his little moment. Hopefully it does lead into something bigger for him. I could give two shits about seeing Wesley Snipes and Jennifer Gardner.
God. Okay, time out, because because that was the one that I didn't see coming, that the moment and the music hit perfectly. With the moment Wesley Snipes walked out with the jacket and the glasses, I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, nobody has ever looked cooler on planet Earth than Wesley Snipes as Blade. He just looks fucking cool. The fucking katana, like, he nailed that role before the MCU, before any of these movies, really, before any of these big mainstream appeal movies. Blade was the one that put the superhero movies back on the map, and it was just cool to see. He just fucking looks cool. Jennifer Garner, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Although I will say, I laughed out loud at her. I forget exactly how it's said, but Deadpool says, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about Daredevil," and she was just like, "Eh."
And you know it's the Ben Affleck Daredevil, not the Charlie Cox. Yeah, it's not the Charlie Cox Daredevil she's talking about.
Oh, that was perfect. So Cassandra Nova, whatever her name is, just basically just another carbon copy version of Cate Blanchett from Thor 3, where it's just, I'm better than everyone with my British accent, and I'm going to just talk better than everybody. And in this movie, Cassandra Nova is just like, I'm better than everyone. I'm going to use all my powers. I'm never going to be physically challenged at any moment from the two titular characters. I'm just going to die from happenstance, and Deadpool and Wolverine are going to have nothing to do with me actually like challenging me physically when what would be a cool boss fight. No, she's just another lame. I'm so arrogant and cocky, and I have Mary Sue villain powers. I hate it.
And never really explains her powers like 100%. Is it on the same level of Charles? I mean, what is that face thing like? Which was some of the most disturbing shit in that whole movie. I mean, the gore was nothing compared to seeing some of those fingers coming out of the noses and eyes and mouths of people.
Well, that's what was weird. She said I'm not like Charles. I have to get my hands dirty. So like, it would have made more sense. And I don't know her comic character. I just know, that she's supposed to be Charles' sister. But like, it would make sense if she got her hands on someone, that's when she's the big mental threat. But like, you can try to like take her out without, but they gave her all the power. She could do anything. She could immediately Thanos people, and she can then touch people. It makes no sense. She just had God powers, and there was nothing that really challenged. And then she gets shot, and then Wolverine says, "Hey, I knew your brother," and she's like, "Oh, okay, I'll send you home."
Bye. I'll send you home, but then I'm still gonna fight you after. That shit was so retarded. I'm gonna cut that out. But that shit was
leave it in.
And she just decided, I'm gonna live in the skull.
Okay, cool. That shit was retarded, dude. I'll say it again. It was just so dumb because she has all the powers to immediately snap her fingers and rip skin off, but then she leaves it to her lackeys to fight everybody in the courtyard for no reason. And then they shoot her. She's going to die unless they take the helmet off. And then it's like, oh, no, take the helmet off. I trust her. She's going to send us back to the time we want to go. And then she's like, okay, I guess I owe you one. I'll send you back. And then I'm actually going to follow you. And I'm going to kill you all anyway. It was so dumb. There was no direction for that character that made any sense at fucking all. It was so dumb.
So, I mean, she is all powerful, but I'm going to live in the shittiest place in the entire universe inside some skull of Ant-Man, and then I am gonna come here and destroy everything just because Mr. Paradox like lied to her. I think that was something like he pissed her off, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna wipe everything from everywhere all at once, kind of thing. So yeah, it's just a direction that she was not written well. And I did some research on this character, and it is so stupid her how she is Charles's sister. I'm not gonna even go into it because it gets like really weird and dark, but it is some shitty writer who probably took over X-Men for like a couple months and needed some quick villain.
So
gotta keep talking about this movie.
All right, so yeah, I'm over it.
The Deadpool end scene. I mean, I guess that's the
Yeah,
last
I
thing
mean,
I
they
like, right?
just they spliced together Guardians, the Guardians 1 ending with them linking up to take the power of the stone, and then
Ugh.
also it's Thor taking the power of the star. Like, it's a combination of both. Deadpool's doing the Thor thing, and then Wolverine comes along and they do the Guardians thing. So I've seen it done, and I've seen it done better. It's fine, like a fine send off type of thing, but whatever. So hit us with the final rating, Jason. Where would you put this movie on a scale of whatever you want it to be?
I mean, as much shit as I talked about it, like I said, I did enjoy the whole thing, and I mean, it's hard for me to recommend it to someone. That's what I always base this thing off of. So 6. Yeah, I think I'm happy with a 6 as far as my rating. A very low 6.
A 6.00. I would give this movie on a scale of Iron Man 3 to Infinity War. I think that's the bottom of the barrel. What's the worst movie in the MCU history?
I mean, Eternals is pretty low on it for me.
No, Iron Man is offensive because it's dealing with a great character and the movie sucks so hard. And Pepper Potts turns into magma lady. Oh, it was so cringe.
And the Mandarin.
Oh yeah, Ben Kingsley is.
It's probably Thor: Love and Thunder, I think, is.
Oh yeah, okay. So on a scale of Thor: Love and Thunder to Infinity War, I give it a Iron Man 2.
Yeah. I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
6 out of 10. Yeah, it's more. It made $200 million domestically in the United States over the weekend for
well, everyone's going to see this movie.
I mean, it's insane. Just this movie really did take over the world. MCU's still dead though, and that's last week.